recording afterwards. So very, very exciting afterwards also to get all of your messages, to see all of your posts, to see all those wonderful changes that you're making into your lives. I tried to do today sitting and relaxing on the couch, but it looks like Facebook didn't want to play ball with me over there. So here I am back in the kitchen for something different. Anyway, challenge day 2 of Shrink Your Waistline. How your midline grew one day without notice. So you've often had those conversations where you say the same things that worked for me 10 years ago just doesn't work anymore for me to lose weight. We used to sort of have that toggle, that switch where we could say, okay, I'm going to do this now. I'm going to go back to my, veggies or my, in most cases, strict calorie diets was what we kind of grew up on. And they just don't serve us anymore. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain to you a little bit about what's been going on in your body, what the changes are, the science if you like, but I guess because I don't like technical, sciencey, crazy terms, I'll leave that for the scientist. I like to be able to take in that information, read up on it, educate myself, and then be able to spin that out into usable terms that you can understand. So I'm going to show you a little bit about the hormones, what's going on in your body, but nothing too crazy. I want to get straight to the heart of how to fix it. I'd rather fix it than sit here and talk a lot of garb today. We've all got precious time to get these things done, and I want to make the best use of your time with me over these 7 days. So one day your waistline grew and it's just not the same anymore. So like, love, comment, and ask. Like, love, comment, and ask on anything and everything on these lives in the next few days. Ask questions, put up, like nutrition panel packets, and ask away, because not only will there be myself, but there'll be plenty of other girls in the community who are equipped to answer your questions. So I look forward to seeing those posts and those likes and loves, because we all love a bit of love, don't we? So I'm going to give you all the pointy ends that are looking at you in the same direction, and they're all, what I'm trying to tell you is that all of the pointy ends are telling you to do the same thing, to take the same action. And I'll illustrate that point. It's going to really make it super clear the action that you need to take. And if you don't get it today, you'll get it tomorrow, the next day. At some point, you're going to say, right, this is clear as day. And if you're over 40, your body is begging for your help. At every symptom and sign that you have, every headache, every migraine, every anxiety attack, every hot and cold flush, anything you can think of, your body is asking for help. So I really beg of you, instead of starting every thought or sentence or day with I can or I can't, I don't. Over the age of 40, you may not have eaten vegetables before. You might be time to think about adding that up. You weren't an exerciser before, it might be time to consider that now you are. Just those sorts of things are going to make a massive difference. And I don't want to see any more women suffering for the most basic, simple steps that you need to take. So I'm also going to show you why you could be losing centimeters, but because you hop on and off the scales every day, that you don't know. So you could be doing your best efforts, you could be eating like a princess, and then you get on the scales and you're like, oh, nothing's working. Have you ever had that happen to you before? Shoot me a like or a love. Let me know. So the food I want you to focus on to get that waistline shrinking, that's what I promised to cover, and plus the movement you need to make sure is in your daily life. Is it ab crunches? That's the question. Is it ab crunches? Comment. And I will also be announcing today our first prize winner. I already know who it is. She's been very interactive. She's been posting and she deserves it. So I'm going to name that later on. So you have to stick with me. So see further down the instructions on how to get chosen. There'll be someone chosen every day. Super, super exciting. So I'm going to head on back over into the live so that I can see what is going on here. All right, beautiful. Woo! Yay, that's better. Thanks, Janelle. All good. Okay, let's get stuck into it. So first of all, the scales. Let's talk about the scales. That's easy. With the scales, your body is designed to hold on to fat. So over the age of 30, you're in the process of losing muscle. So over the age of 30, sarcopenia, sarcopenia, is the process by which your body will start to hold on to fat, and actually your bone and your muscles are degrading over time. So unless you take action and change your course, so here's one of your pointy ends pointing at you saying do this, unless you don't take action and change your course and just start moving. So that's why the steps that I've given you are so crucial, because the steps that I've given you, I polled the group. So whether you are new to the Fitnotskinny community or whether you've been sticking around for a while, that's the most integral part for you to know, is that you guys voted. I put the poll out to you and said, okay, these are the things that you need to do. What could you tackle most easily? And they were the actual things that you chose. So the 20 to 30 minutes walking was the highest response that you guys said that's what you could manage doing. And the vegetables, I had some tricky wording on there. So the funny thing is, it's probably great that's turned up to be step 2, because the vegetables, increasing your vegetable intake, was worded that you could increase vegetables where you can. So I think that's why that was the next popular post, where I can. You know, we can be very like non-committal. Yes, I can, where I can, add more vegetables. Anyway, that is your step number 2, and I love it. Guess what? Because that's vegetable, actually, that point actually takes straight to the heart of the matter, doesn't it? For many of you, having 2 decent serves of vegetables a day is the very heart of the matter. The other heart of the matter is not moving. And particularly with closures and pandemics and lockdowns, what happened was we stopped moving from the house to the car, to the public transport, to the office, walk to the office, back around the office, and that stopped. So what happened from there was we rolled out of bed, we sat at our desk, then we got out, we went to the kitchen, and then we went back, and then we ended up on the couch. And of course, some of us were let out for walks, which was very kind of our governments, but nevertheless, we were largely sedentary. And that's why you'll see a steep incline in the amount of people that are currently affected. In addition to that, our food went out the window. So I'm not going to pause there. I'm not going to tell you what you already know. I really want to move on to stuff that you don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump straight into what I promised you. I'm going to go straight into the nitty gritty of what's going on. Beautiful. What's going on in your bodies. I'm just making sure you can see. Beautiful. All right, so it's all about fat loss and shrinking. So reset and reform, and not about the scales. The scales are not going to show you that picture. So what we're seeing over and over again is I've been measuring my ladies, and I'll put up their results later on. So if you want to have a look at that, if you haven't been watching my Facebook stories, that's where you can see what I'm up to, what I do every day, how I live, how I eat, how I exercise. Otherwise, I've been putting up my girls' results, their centimeters and their kilos lost, or their pounds, if you like, easy conversion. And I want you to pay close attention, because my girls have all said to me that if they had focused just on the scales, that many times they would have felt like they weren't getting anywhere, but this way they've known. So it's been absolutely integral that I track the people that I work with, absolutely integral. So for you to be successful, I encourage you to track those measurements. If you haven't taken them already, take them around your chest, waist, and hips, and you can't get them wrong, and the instructions are in the workbook. Moving on. So knowing what your body needs from a metabolic point of view is key. So I'm just going to I don't want to carry on too much about myself, because I want this to be very much about you. But 2 years ago, I sat at my desk and I wondered how to get my confidence back, okay? Personal trainer, 12 years, trained bodies, changed bodies. Also, as you know, I changed my body. So here's a photo of me here. I was an overweight, 120 kilo, which is 240, 250 pound girl. And I completely changed my world and how I eat. What happened to me was I looked back. It was April 2020. I'm sitting in my first lockdown. Gyms closed March 23 in Melbourne. I looked at myself and said, well, what have I got to give? What have I got to share with the women of the world? How can I encourage them when I'm struggling? And I looked at myself and I thought, you know what? I can't find anyone relatable online. Does anybody else understand this feeling? Please give me a like or a love or a comment. I can't find anyone relatable online. I was scrolling pages and pages and pages of six-pack abs. Hot girls in bikinis. And if you want to be a hot girl in a bikini, if you want to enter a body sculpting competition, you need to eat in a totally different way to what I'm prescribing. But if you just want to be happy and healthy in your own skin and feel amazing in your jeans, in your dress, in your bathers, by all means, feel amazing in your dress and your bathers. Are you a body sculptor? Answer me that. Are you trying to get to 10%, 12%, 13% body fat, which is very low, extremely lean? You know, those very, very lean girls that are posing and doing those sorts of things. There is a different kind of program for that kind of person. But if you are a woman over 40 who just wants to feel happy and confident in their skin and wants an everyday woman at the front of that helm to show them how to do that, absolutely, I can show you testimonials and results and pictures over and over and over again of bodies that I've changed in the simplest possible way. So I'm streaming the internet. I don't want a six-pack. Sure, I'd love a six-pack, but I don't want one. I'm not gonna starve myself for one. I'm not gonna eat like I want a six-pack, right? Let's be realistic. I'm just wanting to be happy and healthy. And then I see skinny Kayla Itzeness, Australian, who has 15 million followers and who represents apparently the everyday woman. No one represents the everyday woman who wants her sexy back, but Kaylee Itzeness. Stick then doing squats and lunges on the internet, 15 million followers, looking at her workouts and saying they're not body changing. They're not going to do anything for anybody's body, particularly a woman over 40 going to there, following stick thing, Kayla Itzeness, and then saying power to her by all means, not bagging her, not putting her down. But if you are not going to be her, then why do we idolize that person in their 20s and say, wow, look at that body, they must know. But they don't, because they're not real. And their exercises are no different to the next person. So we've lost our logic when it comes to weight loss. Would you rather lose 2 dress sizes or 2 kilos? So answer me that. Happy to see these comments come through, so answer me that. Would you rather lose 2 dress sizes or 2 kilos? Anyone? I'll come back to those comments. I dare say you're going to say 1 to 2 dress sizes would be great. Thank you very much. So tracking is so important, and measuring is how you'll know. Thanks, girls. You could get on the scales and it will say same weight. Or you could have increased your weight, particularly if you're starting to eat well. And we know now, scientifically, in many cases, before a woman loses weight, she actually needs to be eating more initially so that we can stabilize her metabolism before she actually loses. Because if you have created such a calorie deficit in your life, if you have been really just struggling to eat properly and eating less and less and less and stifling your metabolism over time, can you tell I'm passionate? If you've been stifling your metabolism over time, then what's going to happen is your body's going to say, nah, I ain't doing nothing. And I'm going to show you why. So this is me, blah, blah, blah. There I was and I lost weight. But moving on, just for fun. Okay, here are some hormonal effects. So we have insulin. Insulin. You may have heard so many times, oh, you're probably insulin resistant, or you're insulin resistant, particularly if you have belly fat. Now, insulin, we know, is strongly influenced by carbohydrate intake, but we're not going to slash carbohydrate to nothing. and overconsumption of food. So my argument is, like Susmita asked today, she said, there's carrots and corn in my salad. Is that okay? And I said, unless you have a corn problem, let me know. Unless you're going to overconsume the corn, let me know. Why not look at breads, rices, crackers, the other issues? So my basis of what I've been teaching you, what I'm teaching you this week, is that if your main food is the unlimited veg, till your heart's content, I don't care if it's a salad bowl size, and your proteins, you can't overeat that, right? You can't overeat that. So yes, sure, everything has a caloric content, but it's so low, it's not funny. Like, I think a cucumber's like 4 calories. Like, are we really going to sit and weigh and count? I mean, it's sad. I think it's sad some people live that way. So to make it really easy for you, I've peeled away all the layers and say, stock up on those veggies, girls. Stock up on those veggies, because it's your overconsumption of energy-rich food like carbohydrates and fats that we really need to watch and toggle and know about and understand and be clear on. But it's not the good stuff. The good stuff, eat the good stuff. There's a lot more, and I've simplified it for the sake of today's live, and you're going to get into that for the rest of the week. But for today's live, the simplification is that the main issue is not the corn and carrot. It's definitely not the lettuce, and it's definitely not your lean chicken, turkey, white fish. Your main problem is your cereals, your breads, your rices, your crackers, the cheese you put on the crackers. It's the energy dense stuff, right? So that's why I say treats are fine, because if I know I fill your day with the good stuff, guess what? You do have room for birthday cake on the weekend. And did you have to count a thing? No. So insulin resistance, going back to this point, you'll also know if you're getting insulin resistant because you will feel that rush of insulin after you eat. Then you'll feel like you want to snooze. You'll know because your eyes can get heavy and puffy if you've overdone it. You'll know because you just don't feel great. You need to lie down. Your body's not coping. It's sending you a message. The most interesting thing I want you to take away from this slide, the simple thing, is that the term insulin resistant means you are unable to burn fat because we take in food, it is turned into glucose, glycogen stored, and then if not used, fat. Glucose, glycogen, fat. And then reverse, when we burn that, we bring it back up into the body, we use it as energy and expels into the air, right? So if you are storing fat, you will become insulin resistant. You will have a belly, but don't forget that actually, well, not don't forget, you don't know this, but that actually affect each other. So belly fat can cause insulin resistance, can cause belly fat, can cause insulin resistance. Yeah. And this is why we use carbohydrate as a tool, not the enemy. We don't want to cut it so low that we don't have that initial energy store. But we need to understand it for hunger, for sleep, for energy, and for cravings. It's super important. Don't be silly and just cut it and chop it to bits and pieces. Understand your own personal carbohydrate requirement by listening to your body and listening to me and what I'm teaching you. Because once you learn this, you will never ever need to touch a diet again. You will never ever ever have to do anything ever again but what I teach you. So ghrelin is your hunger hormone. Yay. I call it the fat equalizer because it increases before eating. So, oh, I'm hungry. And I actually would rather that you're someone who gets hungry. So people say, I'm hungry all the time. What's wrong with me? That's actually a good thing. I'm more worried when you don't have hunger. So hunger hormone decreases after I'm fed. It originates from the stomach. So what we can do to keep ghrelin happy, eat in intervals. So I don't agree with fasting. If it works for you, amazing. But if it often with fasting, what it creates is a binging episode. No food, no food, no food. Yay, go to town, eat everything I see. No food, no food, no food. I don't like that effect on the mind. I don't like the effect on the mind. I recommend eating breakfast. I recommend starting your day. I recommend burning your calories early in the day, bringing it forward and doing everything you can to tell your metabolism, hi, I'm awake, I'm in, I need energy, let's go. I also am a big believer, a number of times when I work back when I first started as a personal trainer in gyms and saying to someone, they're like, I'm just not hungry in the morning. And I'm like, okay. So any chance you stay up late? Oh yeah, I probably don't get enough sleep. I probably do stay up quite late. Okay. So any chance you have a late dinner? Yes, no, but many cases, yes, late dinner. And then after dinner, what do you do? Because you don't go to bed for a while. Well, I'll probably just watch television, play games on my phone. You know, some people like to read and go, okay, so what happens after dinner? Well, I probably do snack. That person's not hungry in the morning. Any idea why? Any chance you stay up and you keep snacking and then you also don't feel like going to sleep because you've had this added energy and now you don't want to go to bed? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I normally do have too much energy to go to bed. How do you wake up? Oh, really groggy. Not hungry, really groggy. Do you see, guys? Another like or a love or whatever, if you understand, it just keeps you integrated in conversation. Keeps me knowing, asking questions, knowing what you're benefiting from this conversation. So ghrelin. So eating regularly in these regular intervals will keep your hunger to growing to unsustainable levels. Have you ever felt that, like, oh, I think I'm hungry, and then you don't listen to that little note? You don't listen to it. And you go, oh, I think I'm hungry, I'll get it in a minute, I'll get it in a minute, I'll get it in a minute. And then 2-3 hours later, you're busy at work, busy doing things, paying the bills, whatever it is that we do, and you haven't eaten. What happens next? What happens next is what I was talking about, the overconsumption. Just going for your life. So meet your grams of protein. And do you know how much you need? Because there's a couple of ways you can do that. What you can do is, I've just simplified it in your guide as 5 sources a day. If you can get on 5 sources a day, then you will not be hungry. And then we will help our little ghrelin hormone. Just 5 sources will have you eating less than you would probably prescribed if you went down the route of a macros coach. A macros coach would break up for you what fat, carbohydrates, and protein you need. And before you idolize that world, once you've got to count everything and measure everything and put it on a scale and like weigh out your salad, weigh out your cucumber, weigh out your... That's not an exciting way to live. Does anybody want to live that way? Because I don't want to live I never ever wanted to live that way. And back when I was telling you the story about me, you know what the most important was? I said, I don't relate to anyone online. I know what I've got to share because I'm going to get everyone to focus on their fit over and above the scales, over and above being skinny. And that's the most important thing to me because I lost 45 kilos, 90 pounds, and I didn't weigh a thing and I didn't do any calorie counting, and I had rice every day. I had bread, I had a muesli bar. So all my girls in my group, in my VIP group, they all get a muesli bar a day. That's their treat and they look forward to it. And we all have lots of fun sharing which protein bars we like, and you know, it's quite a thing in VIPs. But you've got to have something you look forward to. You've got to have something you look forward to every day. This sort of dieting, deprivation, slashing here and there, that's why we stay stuck. That's why we can never just continue with something. Lots of forgiveness, yeah? Moving on. Leptin. Now, I tell you what, the leptin, I called this the fat cheerleader. So leptin is naughty. Leptin is the naughty hormone. I'm going to skip to the bit where it says danger in the middle. We all have a leptin floor, but we have no leptin ceiling. So the amount of leptin that we have, it tells us how much fat there is in our cells, right? So it never has a bottom figure. It never has a top figure. It can never have enough fat in the cells, leptin. So leptin will send the energy and go, oh, hang on, low in fat, time to eat. Yeah. The more fat we have in our fat cells, the more active leptin is at telling us we need more fat. when you try to lose weight and leptin drops, you're trying to fat loss, right? It's the game. That's my game. I teach you how to do it by tracking you every 4 weeks. Leptin tries to play against you. So tricks like protein are vital. Tricks like protein are vital because you need to tell your body, no, actually, thanks, I'm all good, I'm full. Does that make sense? So think of your protein as a message to your leptin hormone to say, nah, it's all good, I'm fine, I got this, I'm fine. And you'll continue to shrink. You'll continue to shrink. Don't you love that? Okay, cortisol's a bugger. So cortisol is our stress hormone. And the main issue here is that everything we do right now is about stress. We race from here to there. We drop the kids, we pick up, we get the dinner, we make the dinner, we do this, we pay the bills, we da-da-da-da. We go to work, we come home, we're trying to do too much. We play little games on our phone, we stay up late. All of these things are stresses. Stress is also actual stress and perceived stress. So if you are someone who always goes, oh my goodness, I'm so stressed, oh my God, I'm so busy, you're also making it worse for yourself. So your cortisol levels will be higher. And your cortisol and your body is amazing. So your body's not fighting against you. Your body is trying to help you. So when your stress levels are detected at being high, your body will say, quick, send in for relief. I need an emergency. Quick, help me out. It's that fight or flight syndrome, fight or flight. So it's going to send in the ghrelin. I must be hungry. I need to store food. And you're going to eat. It also messes with your estrogen and progesterone. Peri to meno, until it peters out, meno is 12 months with no period. Peri is years coming up to that. Everybody's different. Everybody suffers differently. Sorry, I shouldn't say suffers. Everybody goes through a different transition. How's that? That's the polite way of putting it. Can anybody relate to their body just not feeling itself after the age of 40 at some point, mid-40s, late 40s? Just pop it in the comments. So I really felt this mid-40s. I really felt this lately. I really felt this in the last year or so. Just comment on that. So what's happened is that your body's hormones are fluctuating so quickly that's why your moods can change. That's why you can snap. But at the same time, sending in the cortisol means it's going to stimulate ghrelin, which is the eating, like I'm hungry, which means you're going to feel really out of control with your food. And then your estrogen is going to mean that you're more likely, these varying cycles, estrogen, progesterone, you are much more likely to store fat because you are under threat. You are under stress, something is wrong, we need to eat, we need to store fat because there's going to be a famine coming, there's going to be a war, the way that our bodies were designed to protect us. So that's really what's going on there. So estrogen though, saying all those mean things about estrogen, I like to call it the friend you talked about behind their back because we bag estrogen, but at the same time, whilst we often talk about it derogatorily, what we didn't know, it does what testosterone does for men. So it helps you sculpt lean tissue. Your skin looks clear and glowing. When your estrogen's high, your skin looks lovely. And when your estrogen drops, you look in the mirror and you're like, what happened to my skin today? I just look really dull. That's when your estrogen's dropped. So very interestingly, your HGH, it's not fun, is it, Carol? Yeah. Not fun. Your HGH, your human growth hormone, is natural, most powerful fat-burning anti-aging hormones, is our cell regenerator, which is cool. And when combined with estrogen, it is our fat loss secret. So this leads to the part that we won't hit in the 7-day, but it leads to the type of exercise you should be doing. Now, let me break this down before people start to feel like, oh, I can't do that, it's too hard. Those of you who are fit and strong and go to the gym, you need to change the way you train. That's what's holding you back, okay? often boot camp or Pilates or yoga. It's just not doing the right things for your body. Ask me to address it and I'll answer that question separately. Those of you who are not moving at all, so I'll go from one scale to the next. Those of you who are not moving at all, you're not moving enough. So your body isn't keeping into its primed position. So remember I said at the very beginning that I'm going to give you all the pointy ends. That I'm going to give you all the pointy ends that are pointing right at you saying, do this. Here's another one. If you currently do not move, don't be ashamed. Everyone's been there at some point. With lots of love and kindness, I want you to go outdoors every day, and if it's disgusting weather, find a gym or just walk around your house and pick everything up and put it back down again multiple times. I need you to move. You need you to move. The number one way you can tell your body that it is younger is not by putting a nice $200 face cream on. It is by moving, picking things up and putting them back down again. So if you're at the top end, I want you strength training. If you're like, but I already go to the gym, I already do yoga 5 days a week, at that top end, I want you to change what you do. That's going to be your challenge. Pick the things you love, but always I say, are you here for a result or are you here for fun? Think about it. Are you here for a result? Are you here for fun? If you keep yourself stuck on the couch, I feel for you. I feel for you. I don't want that for you. I really, really beg of you, please make the effort. Open your guide, your shrink waistline guide. Go to the steps. Step 1 is walk 20 to 30 minutes a day. 20 minutes. 20 minutes a day. And then go to step 2, go to step 3. By all means, you don't have to work with me and do this. It's fine. I've given you everything. And do you know what? Truth be known, I've given you almost everything is in your mailbox right now. Everything. The biggest difference is having a coach so you don't fall off the wagon. Coaches keep you on track. That's the difference. So if you're at the top end, you know what to do. If you're on the couch end, then I just implore you, please, 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 do step 1, do step 1, do step 1, do step 1. Walk every day, 20 to 30 minutes. It is going to shrink your waistline because your walking is going to bring that cortisol hormone down. So what we learned was, and I'll do a whole thing on walking, I'm pretty sure it's one of the days. So your huff and puff, I'm exercising, walking is out the door. Old news. Old news. You trying to burn calories or you trying to lower cortisol? Lowering cortisol is your biggest problem. It is in our age, it is our biggest problem. I'm 49. Lower your cortisol. Walk calmly, smell the roses, enjoy your surroundings, have a chat with a friend while you do it. It's awesome. Awesome, awesome. So here's the cool thing. So women produce more HGH than men during exercise, but female-specific workouts to leverage your hormonal cycle aimed at high HGH production to get the most of it. That is the resistance training. So depending on what level you're at, I'd only want you to work in the level that you're at. But if you're ready for resistance training, if you're ready to up level from where you are right now, by all means, I encourage you. I encourage you to do it. There is a very specific way to train. There is the best way to train. You can either do it in a 5 out of 10, or you can get a proper program that hits your body parts very strategically, and therefore it creates a metabolic furnace where you're really burning fat. And when you're burning fat, you're shrinking the fat in those fat cells. So once we've got fat cells, we actually can't get rid of them, but we can shrink them. So this is how I shrink waistlines day in, day out. The walking, the resistance training, and the veggies and the proteins. I've given it all to you. You've got all of it. It's just being kind to yourself and getting it done. So I think this is the last one. The thyroid, your sensitive friend we also like to call Switzerland. Yeah, it is the last one. So we keep this one right where we like it to be. Secreted from the thyroid gland, helps to manage the body's metabolic processes. It's like a thermostat, very sensitive to your daily lifestyle choices. Sleep. stress, exercise, long, moderate, or short, high intensity. So it's very, very, very sensitive. And that's why I like to call it Switzerland. It just stays in the middle and it just kind of, it's like the temperature gauge. It just kind of evens everything out. And it's primed to operate on a premise that food is scarce. So like I talked to you before about that cortisol, the ghrelin, the leptin, the thyroid brings it all together. And here's the premise, that you're primed to operate on a premise that food is scarce. Eat less, exercise more, people, will cause your body's metabolism to slow down. You go on those diets, you reduce the amount of food that you eat, and then you go, I'm going to exercise more. I'm going to exercise more intensely. I'm going to sweat or it doesn't count. That group of people, by all means, please put in the chat what group you belong to. That group of people, you are creating an issue for yourself from a metabolism point of view. So has that really pulled together for everybody where your problems lie? Does that help you? I know it does. I've been doing this for a while. You're welcome. Does that help you understand, your body's trying to help you. It's sending you the messages. So when I get all the questions about, can I eat this? Can I eat that? Can I do this? Can I do that? I would say focus on the steps I've given you, and from there you can have your packet of this and packet of that. But if you eat 2 packets of this and 2 packets of that, and if you have 4 tablespoons of mayo instead of 1 tablespoon of mayo, that's where we end up in trouble. If we have a snack attack or we eat all the things, that's also where we have in trouble. But are we going to measure our carrots and our corn? Are we worried about overeating protein? Because I've given you the veggies, you're going to digest them well. I've given you the hydration, you're going to hydrate well and make sure that you process them. So at the end of the day, think of your body as a blessing. If you haven't seen my Instagram, it was a couple of days ago, I did a reel, your body is a blessing. It's trying to send you messages. And just in case you're unsure, I was myself at a talk recently, and it was by a biochemist, Libby Weaver. And the only reason why I'm sort of referring to someone else is I'm going to end this chat on a slide that she put up. And at the end of the day, what I love so much is, as a biochemist, she's standing on the stage and she's pleading with me. And the whole talk was on, what are your hormones doing? What are your hormones doing? And in this whole talk, she ended up putting up a slide, and that slide is everything I'm teaching you. And I was just so chuffed that after my own learnings, everything I've been through as a woman at my age of 49, when I suddenly crept on this extra weight across my waist. If you look at my legs, they're really athletic. My upper body, you know that I train. And all of a sudden this waistline grew. And for 6 months or so, I just didn't know what was wrong. And the misinformation, the bad doctor's appointments that didn't help me, the crappy advice that my clients get as well. Just go keto, just do fasting, just do this, just go vegetarian, just all the really bad advice out there. And I thought, wow, we leave a lot to be desired. But this is a really interesting point that I think you guys will enjoy. She pointed out, the main issues are like thyroid, insulin resistance, iron deficiency, or menopause related. So she put a question mark. I'm going to try and read this as quickly as I can. She said, is it the thyroid? Like, what's causing your problems, girls? What's causing your problems? Is it the thyroid? Is it your insulin resistance? Is it your iron deficiency? Or is it menopause related? And on iron deficiency, I'm going through this with my VIPs right now. They're all getting blood tests and getting looked at. But check your iron. Definitely check your iron. But listen to this. These are all the symptoms. I'm going to read them as quickly as I can. And just see if you can relate and see if you see some consistency, because everything I'm showing you is pointing in the one direction. You need to up level your health. Listen out. Ready? Is it the thyroid, insulin resistance, iron deficiency, or menopause related? Question. Underactive symptoms for thyroid: fatigue, body fat increases, elevated cholesterol, temperature intolerance, cold and hot flushes, joint pain, more anxious feelings, low mood, constipation, body aches, irregular periods, heavy periods, hair loss, dry skin, brittle nails, brain fog, poor memory. Overactive symptoms: overheating, hot flushes, raising heart, hair loss, anxious feelings, poor sleep, insomnia, body aches, insulin resistance, body fat increases, elevated cholesterol, fatigue, heavy periods, excess androgens, facial hair. Common perimenopause symptoms: heavy periods, irregular periods, poor sleep, insomnia, fatigue, body fat increases, brain fog, hair loss. Common post-menopause symptoms: overheating, anxious feelings, heart racing, low mood, insomnia, elevated cholesterol, excess androgens, facial hair, head hair loss. Common iron deficiency, I think it's the last one. Symptoms: fatigue, breathlessness, racing heart, anxious feeling, crave ice, poor memory, poor immunity, heavy periods, scant periods, irregular periods. Did you notice anything about them all? It repeats. It repeats, it repeats, it repeats. So the same symptoms, what is their solution? What is their solution, girls? So excited. Fitnotskinny. The solution is, think of Fitnotskinny as your nutrition as well. Instead of being fit and focusing on skinny or the scales, focus on being fit with your nutrition. Instead of focusing, can I have this, can I have that, I'm worried about my weight, I'm trying to weigh this much. Think about what is going into your body to feed it and to help with any symptoms that you may be combating. That is where I want you to come from. What kind of goodness, I've been holding up the lemons the last couple of days. What kind of goodness can you put into your body? What kind of goodness can you put into your body? The goodness and the nutrition is just so, so important. With that, your waistline will shrink. With the walking, your waistline will shrink. With the exercise, the strength training, the water, the detoxification of your vegetables, and from the hydration, it's all coming full circle into that one answer. Do you need to weigh your food? No. Do you need to count calories? No. Are you trying to be a bikini competitor? Most likely not. That's it for today. I've talked for much, much longer than I intended to talk. But as you can see, I just love, love, love this topic. And with passion in my hand and my heart, I just want you to live the best, absolute best life for you guys. Okay? So I hope you loved today's chat. That's day 2, challenge 2. So I'm going to announce now that the winner for our prize, I hope she's here. She might not be, but our winner of our prize, and I will make it from tomorrow that you have to be on the live in order to get the prize. So the winner is Sam Clark. You would have seen her posts. She's posting about how she's doing. She's asking questions. She's put up a protein label of her cereal, I think it was. And she's doing an all-round sterling job. She's got a lot going on in her personal life, and she's making it up early, off to the gym. She's doing it all. So Sam, you're a member of our Fitnotskinny community. I don't know you until this challenge, and I'm so, so proud of you. I hope you feel amazing and happy to have received a prize. I'm going to let you choose whether you'd like me to post out to you this health and fitness journal, or whether you would like 1 month membership in Fitnotskinny VIPs, and that's valued at $99. Just the membership, no program, just to get to hang out with my VIPs is $99 a month. So that is Sam's price. So Sam, you can choose the journal or the VIP hangout. And other than that, tomorrow I'm going to get you to bring your packets. So tomorrow's live, I'll announce the time. We've got a very special offer coming out Thursday to everybody. So if you want more of this programming and excitement, we will have a ridiculous offer hit your emails on Thursday. But you need to watch and read your emails because you'll have 2 days to act on that one. So be very quick. But tomorrow, bring your dressings, bring your packets of food, your cereals, your protein powders, and knock yourselves out, because I will help you decipher your labels and make better choices. Day 2, it's a wrap.